The main thing is you're just totally unprepared. You can't save everything. That's your first thought is, what is it that I can't replace if I don't save it? You know, when you're in that kind of a situation, your adrenaline's going. The problem is always when there's a letdown. All of a sudden, whew, and then you can get sick or you can get injured. But prior to that time, you're simply not allowed to. It's not part of the reality. You just keep hoping it would stop. Hey, come look through the window pane. Bus is coming, gonna take us to the train. Old Johnny Cash song, 5 feet high and rising. Looks like we'll be blessed with a little more rain.
How high's the water, mama? 4 feet high and rising. How high's the water, papa? She said it's 4 feet high and rising. Hey, come look through the window pane. The bus is coming, gonna take us to the train. Looks like we'll be blessed with a little more rain. 4 feet high and rising. How high's the water, mama? 5 feet high and rising. How high's the water, papa? She said it's 5 feet high and rising. Well, the rails are washed out north of town. We gotta head for higher ground. We can't come back till the water goes down. 5 feet high and rising. Well, it's 5 feet high and rising.
So, how did you guys meet in the first place?
That's my story.
No, I feel like...
No, it's my story.
All right.
Deli sliced.
Run.
Do you want to eat it?
Yes, I do want to eat it.
She was there, nudged my friend that was there, and I was like, so what's the story with this girl? And he was like, you're ridiculous. You have no shot. I was like, thanks, bro. So, saw that it was her birthday on Facebook.
Get away from the cucumber.
So I sent her a Facebook message and said, hey, happy birthday. I don't know if you remember me, blah, blah, blah.
I didn't. I have no recollection of our first meeting at, like, church.
At church, yeah. It was real. It happened.
So you say.
I wear the scars.
Oh. Okay.
Sweet Jesus.
I'm not going to burn you.
Father in heaven. So yeah, that was how we met. Little did splash on the arm there.
This October will be 2 years since the day we first talked. We started talking, never stopped talking, and now we're married. We got married on August 19th.
It's been an interesting first month.
Let's go into our bedroom and see what the video is.
Yes.
Super freaked out here. Oh my god, everything's ruined. Oh god, this rug is ruined. Oh god, it's really bad back here.
Oh, it's gross.
Yeah, it's pretty gross back here. I can't start.
Oh, it's bullshit.
It's the bathroom. It was very surreal when we first saw it. We only lived in the house together like 2.5 weeks. So by the time we got back from our honeymoon, we were in the house and we had just gotten a routine together and got settled, and then we evacuated and came back and the house was flooded. Here's our house. That bowl is full of water. It's disgusting. These are our West Elm dishes, and there's...
This opened up.
This opened up. Oh god.
Water all
Oh my God.
Okay.
Oh, you did vacuum cleaner.
Oh no, our vacuum cleaner.
And look at this.
Oh no. Yeah, that's done. Like the only time I got emotional was when I saw the vacuum, because for some reason that vacuum cleaner was like the symbol of the big thing that we got when we got married, and it was so exciting and we were going to do this life together, you know? And then seeing that was hard.
That was what really sent you over the edge when you saw that.
Seriously.
It's okay, baby. These are just things. I know, you're just starting out. It's awful. It's awful.
A bunch of guys from our church came and helped us just drag everything out. That big pile is all of our stuff. Our dresser, our couches, literally everything we had.
It was really weird, you know, especially being newly married. Like, it's different caring about what happens to me and then caring about what happens to my wife.
Check your dress.
Yeah, open the, I hung it up. I mean, that can be cleaned even if
Oh, good, it's fine.
Trying to light it. Okay, yep, that's what I did. Yep, I hung the dress up high. So that it wouldn't.
It was a very crushing thing to come back and see that the little bit we had built up was just gone.
Oh my God.
It was weird. It was really weird. Harrowing is a good word for it.
Are your shoes all ruined?
Yeah, I think so.
We're still in the phase where we're still learning each other. Like, I'm still kind of learning how she handles grief and like what she needs from me to process it.
Do you want to live on Wattle Tree Road?
That's hilarious name. It's forced us to really get to know each other like really quick. Because it's one thing to experience like, oh man, we went on a honeymoon, it's fun, it's all the, it's another thing to go through something like traumatic and come out the other side and still be able to be like, yeah, like, I'm still in shock that she said yes.
No.
All of this crazy stuff happened, but we have each other. Like, the important stuff. I don't know. I guess in a way it kind of helps that we're still in the honeymooner phase, because I'm like, it's still new and exciting. So that one's out, huh?
Do you want to live in the pink house? I mean, it really is hard, you know. It was like a life-changing event for sure, but let's look at those again. I mean, we really do feel fortunate, but we do feel displaced. How about that one?
A modest $900,000 home.
A friend of my mom's lives in Murray Hill, and they snowbird. They live in Tennessee, and then they come down here part of the year. And she just said, you guys are welcome to live in my house for a few weeks until you can get back on your feet. Come on, buddy. We're just hopeful that we're gonna have a better thing, that there's gonna be something better. Not in a flood zone though, because I can't do that again.
Hello, tiny princess.
I have 2 boys and 2 girls.
Stop. You've got to get up.
Gotta get up. We had stayed with some friends for a couple of weeks.
Do you want to go brush your teeth?
All of the FEMA rooms were either booked or not participating anymore. So it was a hard, and lots of hours to try to find a place to stay. All right, does anybody want eggs this morning or just cereal? I think it's 4. We've moved 4 times. So I'm very happy for the big Sterilite gray bins. We throw everything in those, and it takes about 2 car trips to get each place where we're going, because every person has their own gray bin of clothes. And then we have all the bags of bathroom stuff.
Privacy interruption, privacy interruption.
Can you do my hair?
Yes, sir. Woo. The boys are over on the pull-out couch, and Sam and Megan on one bed, and Mommy, Daddy on the other. This is an experimental scrambled eggs that we tried the other day, and it went pretty well. It's weird to be in one room. Oops, sorry. It's moment to moment, honestly. I try to smile, and I tell the kids we're on an adventure. All right, how many people need pretzels? 2, okay. They went by the house the day after the water had receded. These are the Build-A-Bears that each of my boys got when they were like 4 months old, but they saw these and they said, Mom, please, can we try to save these? These are the only thing we're gonna ask to keep. So a friend washed them for us, and we have them back. So now they're with something familiar. They're just saying, all right, where are we gonna stay next? Sometimes I say, I don't know. Because right now we don't know where we're staying next week. You look good, you need shoes. Mommy needs shoes. Mommy needs shoes. Our FEMA lodging approval is only through Saturday. So we have to check out by Sunday, and don't know where we're going next. That's a little scary.
Ready, spaghetti?
I try to call FEMA, but apparently the lines are so long that most of the time I get a message that says, we're sorry, no one's available to take your call. Your call will now be disconnected. Pushed. And can't get through. So I haven't spoken to anyone there in weeks. So we don't know what's next. All right, everybody ready? Grab your stuff. I sometimes get a little down and say, I don't know where we're gonna live, and that's scary for me, for the kids. Right now I just try to keep positive for them, and I'm very lucky. Nobody was hurt, nobody we know was injured. We're all still here, and that's the most important thing.
I've just taken pictures my whole life. I had thousands. and I saved them. I got them out, and the first couple of days, I was just out in the yard everywhere, peeling them apart and sticking them down. Kind of like, triage, only it's what is it, what do I save and what I don't. Some pictures will do that to you, and you remember back, and it triggers emotions. You think, oh yeah, I remember that, and that was that, yeah, what was that? What was her name? They're prints from, the 70s or 80s. I mean, they're, family and old friends and Vietnam. All my Vietnam stuff is there.
Hello, Downhigh Towers, Cat Killer 39er.
I was a pilot. I flew spotter planes in the DMZ. An 01 Bird Dog.
Cat Killer 39er, Tower. Cat Killer 39er, taxi to takeoff.
You wear a flight helmet. You could record, and I had a little microphone with it.
Firing artillery on Alpha 3.
We'd run airstrikes, called scramble air and artillery or whatever.
These rounds seem to be impacting. We don't know who's shooting them.
Firing at me? Yeah, every day. That's what they do. It's a combat situation for sure.
We've got ducks on the pond down here.
This is my friend Wendell.
Your head was shaved here?
Oh yeah, that was during my Hanson period. That was actually a pretty practical thing to do at the time because in that era, things changed so much over here during Vietnam, and so much of who you were, and judgment about you was made by your hair. There was the long hair and the short hair, and so I was kind of, I didn't know, I wasn't sure who I was. So that was the best solution. That whole thing about the reception, I'm not sure about. They talk about people getting spit on. I never got spit on. But I'm sure it was because of my innate charm and sparkling personality. Could also have been that I was 6'5" and 240 at the time, but I'm going to change position. Getting too old for this. Well, you don't necessarily have to show that to God and everybody. That was my hippie biker days. I have some of my accounting days. They look a little different. The water came up and floated the refrigerator, and it just floated over and knocked over the motorcycle. And like an idiot, I put that motorcycle upright. I went and fought the refrigerator and the motorcycle. It made no sense. That motorcycle was gone, but I had to do that. Once they're underwater, all the electrics are gone. You can see the rust everywhere. Here's my Beamer. You can see water in the headlight. What a shame. That Beamer was a pretty bike. I decided I needed to downsize anyway. I needed, and I was trying to figure out which ones I was going to get down to. And Mother Nature made that decision for me, so hell. Man my age doesn't need 5 motorcycles anyway, does he?
Tonight, we're getting a closer look at the San Marco neighborhood, especially those who live along the St. Johns River.
There's nobody out here.
Really, I'm not really the type to get overexcited about, hey, a hurricane's coming. I've been in Jacksonville forever, so most of the time, not a whole lot happens.
Hey guys, I'm out here in the San Marco neighborhood, only a few hundred feet away from the St. Johns River, and we're already starting to see some of these roads flood, including right here on Cedar Street.
Matthew, there was so much hype, and you need to evacuate, and then we didn't even lose power.
San Marco is an area definitely prone to flooding, even when it's just normal rainfall.
We were a little bit like, oh, this boy who cried wolf.
You never ever think that a hurricane is actually going to bring 3 feet of water into your house, especially if you live here your whole life.
He's been living here his entire life, and he's never seen the water this high.
We just decided to get out.
We weren't really planning for anything bad to actually happen.
The high tide is expected to hit after midnight and then again at noon. And so if you're still in the area, either get out or you're going to want to seek higher ground.
Move to the west side of your home and move to higher ground if at all possible. I am behind
The news really amped it up, so we were a little bit afraid of the storm, but we, again, never dreamed it would be this bad.
We're on the 2nd floor.
We didn't think it'd be 6 feet. Thought it'd be a couple inches. We underestimated it badly.
Not completely sure how we're going to be able to get out.
But once you're staying, you're stuck.
Went to bed about 10 o'clock Sunday
at night, my son-in-law was staying here. He came in about 3 o'clock in the morning and said, I think we got a problem. And I said, okay. So I twisted on the bed, put my feet down, and jerked them back because I was in at least 3 inches of water.
Hey guys, this is what the bottom floor of our hotel looks like.
At 3 in the morning, my husband sent me the first text and said, honey, I just woke up and there's water coming in the corners of our room and the kids' rooms. An hour later, he texted me and he said, I just stepped down into ankle-deep water. He was like, look, the water's over my shoe, pouring in through the cracks.
I had the TV on. I was watching you guys or somebody, you know, talking about the storm. And I'm running around as the water's coming in, and then it got up over the electrical outlets. All of a sudden I heard this frying noise. So I ran out back and started throwing through all the breakers.
And it was just pouring in. I mean, it was like a
Like
lake
a
out there.
waterfall
Yeah.
coming in the door. And it was flooded completely.
Yeah, we were pretty much huddled in the kitchen because it was up
Yeah,
higher.
that's the highest point. A couple hours later, we were calling for somebody to rescue us because it was getting deep. We didn't know how high it was going to go.
I was standing right here, watching the water fill up on the street and the waves coming over. The St. John's between 5 and 6 feet. It was like an ocean out there. White caps, and San Marco being so low, it just had nowhere to go. A lot of storms come through here, but this is the worst it's ever been. And we just rode out the storms on the arms of the Lord. That's the way I feel about it.
It looks like a river.
I mean, it was just wild. People on roofs were all just kind of communicating. One of the videos has the guy on and his whole family on his roof.
On the roof? Jesus Christ. I've never seen anything like this. Everything's gone.
At that point, we were just thinking, okay, we're stuck.
Holy cow.
So now we became worried about other people's safety.
Then we started seeing the footage come in. Someone in this building over here actually was filming an iPhone video. There's a bright green door on this house adjacent to us over here. So we saw like the signature bright green door and we were like, oh my God, there's like 5 or 6 feet of water on our street.
People were going by in kayaks. That's the first person we saw wading in it, back over there. And we were worried there were some old people farther down. They needed rescuing, so we were pointing boats. There were people on roofs. We were making sure they were okay. And there was an old man on the corner who was like coming out wading in it. We made sure he got picked up. And by the end of it, we were walking around in it, you know, just trying to help.
This is San Marco Boulevard.
I had a pair of boxer shorts on and a t-shirt.
So I grabbed the cat, and I'm holding the cat, and we walked a block and a half in waist-deep water. Unbelievable. Just never dreamt it would be that deep.
No.
Never. When we saw some pictures on Facebook, the first one was just a street shot from Dance Trance toward us, but we could see. And then actually my 2 sons, I guess Tuesday around 4:15, they came and they took pictures for us. And then we really saw it because we could see the furniture, you know, over 2 feet up was just in water.
I was just kind of standing there in shock, and because I don't, it's hard to believe that it happened, and then you just don't know what to do. You don't know what to do next.
We're numb, completely numb. It's just, what do we do next? Just hope somebody will tell us what to do next.
This is my street. I think it was Tuesday morning when we came back for San Marco. We pulled up to San Marco and it was just crazy to see how high the water was. About to try and walk through it, get some clothes. And she's, you know, my wife was like, well, we need to go in the house because we got to get clothes for the baby. She's like, well, if you're not going to go in, I'm going to go in. I said, okay, I'm going to go. Fire rescue tried to scare me, tell me it was a bad idea to go through because could catch diseases, but give it a shot. And I was doing a Facebook Live when I when I got it, you know what I mean, as I'm walking, just to kind of show everyone. Here's my house. Wow. Front got pretty busted up. Once I got to the house and opened up the door, I stopped because it was too much. Doesn't look like it anymore, huh? Everything I picked up was soaking wet, and it was a little, you know, it was overwhelming to see that. But then after that, you know, I called my wife and told her what was going on, and just broke down and just told her everything was ruined.
We knew it was going to be kind of like something you see out of a movie, that we were going to have to fight our way in. We started to prepare ourselves for coming back to some pretty disastrous remains.
Our neighborhood is in shambles. I mean, I've never seen so many people crying, all ages. What it looks like now is nothing. I mean, nobody came for days, just days. Days. I mean, by the time the water went down enough so it was like that, it was essentially a sewage and trash stream. The cleanup is pretty much day by day. I mean, it's almost like running in the sand. It's getting there, but I mean, at one point you could just see trash bags as far as you could see. Everybody's just boxed up everything, and couches, TVs, stuff that was pretty high up for the people downstairs, just destroyed. Mold and everything all throughout. When you saw that dumpster, there were many more before it. It's been pretty bad.
Very, very devastating for, like I said, most of the businesses. We had about 20 inches of water. It's tragic for us, but it's incredibly tragic for the folks that pretty much lost their homes. This is our livelihood, it's not our life. So we have homes to go back to. A lot of the neighbors, they have nothing. Nothing at all. Some people just put everything on the street, so there's nowhere for them to live inside. Nothing for them. They don't have couches, they don't have beds. I think some of them are staying in a shelter in a church down the street. Some of them around here had 4 or 5 feet. I know European street got hit really, really hard.
Everything is just covered in the I guess you call it the funk from the river or whatever you want to call it. The insulation on the inside, it's all full of the water. You can't ever get it out. Even if it dries out, the smell and everything else will still be in there. You still see the walls are still wet. This is what, 9 days later? About 9 days later, something like that. It's still wet. And it's very, very devastating for everybody involved.
You're just overwhelmed. It's because all that stuff has to be trashed. All the furniture in here, it all is trash.
It absorbs the germs and everything because this is river water.
It just feels like a huge waste of beauty. I think the hardest thing for us is to see these beautiful pieces. They're ruined, and they're also not sanitary, and they're not safe. So you just have to let them go.
It's tough to see that, especially going through San Marco, you know, just to see everyone's belongings out there and furniture.
It was wild to be on the street the day after we came home, and there's like people in FEMA vests walking around, and there's like debris everywhere. And I was raised around, you know, we help people who are in need and all that stuff, but it's wild to have been for so many years on one side of it where you're like going out and helping people clean up and helping them pick their lives back up and put it back together, and then being the ones to be like, oh crap, now we have to do that. Like, now we're the ones who need the help.
Sometimes it's tough just to think about, you know, everything that happened and that had happened to us, you know. Right. Even the baby kind of, when we took her for her 6-month checkup, you know, the doctor said that she seemed that she may have been under a little bit of stress.
Arms up.
And that she didn't really gain the weight she was supposed to, so. They said it's just like adults, if you're dealing with change and stuff like that, you know, the baby's got to adapt. So now that we're trying to get back into a normal routine, we're getting there.
It's stressful, and it's like, you know, you can only email FEMA so many times. We're beaten down, but I can say this, I mean, people were checking on each other.
I didn't think it was gonna flood, you know, so
I was actually pretty surprised. A bunch of glass tables were shattered, and our couch was on top of the table. And then I went into my room. I was like, wow, this is bad. It smelled like really bad. Swampy, disgusting. We got sad, but like, it wasn't like enough to make me cry. Yeah, because like, just wasn't, because like I still had my family with me, and it just made me happy that I still had them.
Well, this was our family room, living room, family room. Had big TV over here, the piano set right here. You see what we have left of that.
Can't find anything. Everything's in bags, you know, black bags. Half of my clothes are thrown out, or more than half of them, I guess. Because I went 5 days, I had to wear the same clothes for 5 days when it first began. I didn't have anything. Oh, goodness.
I get nervous. I get to where I'm not very patient. About every morning, 3 o'clock, I wake up and wonder, what am I going to do next? Who am I going to call? And it's just, until it's over with, we're not going to have a peaceful day.
Irma had all of the perfect ingredients. It was like the perfect storm for San Marco to flood. Ingredient number one, basically we had a 2-day nor'easter. Why is that significant? Because the St. Johns River has to flow out, basically flows to the east and to the northeast. If there's a nor'easter, the ocean is being pushed into the St. Johns River. Even before technically Irma hits, with its surge, the St. Johns River is at about 1 to 2 feet above normal. San Marco is so low. Once water gets over, let's say River Road, it actually flows down into San Marco. And so there's ingredient number two, and that is the rain. The rain was a big deal. Not only the rain, but the timing of the rain. Just as we were reaching high tide and the highest storm surge from Irma was hitting. So that ingredient number three, the storm surge from Irma.
You had a storm surge, a high tide, and a full moon all at the same time. You kind of expect maybe a block or two from the river would be flooded. I'm talking blocks, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks in, were just totally flooded. And then when you get that much water, it also impacts sewer systems. And suddenly you see sewers, you know, just like a gusher. It's a wake-up call. I'm not trying to be an alarmist, but we need to be prepared for more of those storms. And everybody's in a flood zone. Some people say I'm not in a flood zone. Everybody's in a flood zone. You know, downtown, Channel 12. You know, y'all were practically had to swim to get into Channel 12. It was horrendous.
I've never seen it like this. No one's ever seen it like this.
By and large, most people have been very patient and very understanding. But sometimes when they're down, I know you're down, and my heart goes out to you, but this is why they're called catastrophes. I think San Marco is rising to the occasion. And you know what? In a funny sort of a way, when these type of things happen, it pulls communities together. You get to know your neighbors a little better. They're right in the boat with you.
It's been awful here because this has been, I mean, every time you turn around, it's flooded again. The road holds the water. It's kind of like a retention pond. Just raising the road level so the road doesn't flood doesn't help when you're in an older infill community, because then you just flood all the structures. We're planning a third pump station, which is right down here on LaSalle, to help pump out rainwater. The challenge that we have is if you're talking about storm surge events. If the river breaches the bulkhead, we've got a problem.
My employees are amazing. We have 8 at this location. Most of the people at this location work around this neighborhood, so they're all out of work right now. And those are the same people that were also affected by the flood in their homes and lost things in their homes, so they can't even come to work to try to help recover that. When they walked in here, it was just even more of a hardship because they saw 25 inches of water sitting in here and obviously knew that they had no place to go. They had probably 8 dehumidifiers in here, closed the doors for 6 days, ran them all to suck the water in. Just in fridges, $8,000. If I have to replace my bathroom doors, that's just another $700. New trash can, $450. I mean, so it adds up quick. A low end is about $20,000. A high end is about $45,000. It's horrific. Every time I've talked about it before today, I cry. Cry now. I'm sorry. We've only been open a year and a half. And we were really just getting a good name in San Marco and a lot of people visiting. So, opening something like this and then a year and a half later having to put this type of additional money into it is extremely difficult. Like many others in San Marco, we don't have flood insurance, so virtually nothing's covered in insurance. So we'll lose 3 to 4 weeks worth of sales. We'll lose those customers that will, essentially forget about us for a while. We still have to make payroll Friday with no sales coming in, and then find a way to pay for it all. So emotionally, it's horrible. We just try to push forward as fast as we can. If all goes well and we can open Wednesday, we're literally just going to do grassroots advertising. We've got bags, we've got cups, and just stand outside and walk San Marco and hand them out. We'll take any publicity we can that we are reopened, because right now, it's so sad. I mean, look, he's actually going to come in and think we're open. Hey. We're not quite yet reopened. Probably next week. That's my 4th customer today. And it's almost worse. It's nice that they're still coming and they're hoping that we're here, but it's really disheartening.
I just feel like we got off really easy compared to everyone else, and it almost didn't seem fair. Because we're here, we're in the area, so it felt like we could still live here and be fine, and then everyone else had to relocate and move, so it was tough. I work from home, so I'm here all the time, and you don't know what to say. I just feel like they're still working so hard to rebuild everything, and I'm just have been living here still. It looked like a tornado just as much as a hurricane because everything was just stripped and piled. We have a dog, so walking the dog, it was just kind of miserable, and there was no grass. It was just mud everywhere. I moved here because of the beauty of San Marco and the charm, and then it was it just stunk that it literally stunk.
The main thing is to stop the bleeding. The idea is there's 4 dehumidifiers going and 12 of these air handlers. We had drill holes in the baseboards. Apologize for the noise. This is about the point where my couch started floating, close to the high point. I've got a 2-story house. That's the reason I stayed, because I got a 2-story house. Sophia and I, we went upstairs and just tried to normalize. She held up like a trooper. I was running and throwing stuff upstairs during the time, so most of this is sort of storage area now, or disaster zone area. This is my home. I have an efficiency apartment that used to be a bedroom. I'm going to go out and buy me a solar shower. I still have one water heater that's out. Not that there's anything wrong with cold showers, but that's my treat. I'm going to have a Guinness and a warm shower at some point in the future. I'm looking forward to that. It's sort of like camping. Or can I interest you in a Diet Coke or a water? How about a 30-gram protein drink. It's my staple. Yeah, I try to get a meal a day if I can, you know, regular, but the basic staple is protein drinks and protein bars. Well, I lost about 10 pounds. I get up probably 7:30, something like that, and I would like to sleep in, but it just doesn't happen because you get up and your mind starts racing like you do in your normal day, only on steroids, you know, like 10 times, you know, you just, oh yeah, I gotta get that done. I'm losing a neighbor next door, an older couple that are just the best neighbors, the best people you could ever possibly know. They're actually my ex-in-laws, but they're not coming back, you know, and I don't blame them. I'm staying, but I'm going to be very aware and conscious and vigilant about high water, because this is going to happen again. I mean, the times have changed, and we all know why. And we're going to have more of these storms. We're going to have more flooding. We're basically part of the ocean here. You know, I kind of started out here just trying to save everything that was wet. And now I'm kind of throwing away things that are dry. Because, you know, I realize, you know, when was the last time I used this? I don't wish this on anybody, and I wouldn't want it to happen, but you can use it to evaluate what is really you need in your life. And like I say, it'll look better later, I promise. It was a kind of a bohemian existence to begin with, and it certainly hasn't, it didn't get any more elegant.
Y'all back open?
Yes, today, baby. We reopened today. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, teamwork makes the dream work. Very happy for today. Big win. It's been 3 weeks of a lot of sweat, blood, and tears going into rebuilding. But it's exciting to see the staff back at work, back at their home stores, just operating again. Hear the phone ring, smell the food. That's awesome.
It's done. I washed clothes. And I got jeans. I can have them anytime I want. I don't have to beg people to wash my clothes for me. I just can't tell you how empowered I feel. It's a little higher than I'd planned. Everything that I've done here in terms of the recovery, and one reason it's taking so long, is that I am planning for the next one, because I am probably more than anybody else you've talked to convinced there will be a next one.
That can go in the kitchen. Every day I think I'm going to be caught up the following day. But it looks a lot better than when we hauled in 35 garbage bags full of belongings. We're going to get this done in record time.
I had to help carry a lot of stuff.
A friend of mine owns this condo. She has it on the market to be sold. So she said, if you guys need it, you're welcome to rent that for whatever time period you need to. And I said, that sounds great, because we don't know where we're going. But we have had so much love and support and attention and help. Thank you guys for helping. Love my brother. I think it's brought us closer as a family. It's brought us closer to God. Throughout this, we have found so many people that were acquaintances that have become friends, and friends that have become family. We definitely don't want to leave this area. We don't want to leave, you know, our family here.
I like this place a lot. It's pretty fun here. It's kind of been good and bad at the same time, you know, because like life lesson is like, you know what to be prepared for when you're older, and if it happens to you, you know it's gonna happen and what it's gonna be like and stuff. So that was the good part about it. Then the bad part is we lost almost everything.
I feel like it's almost normal. You see everyone walking their dogs again. Like, it's nice to be outside. You don't have to leave the area to get like fresh air. I'm looking forward to that feeling where we're just like, oh, yeah, that thing that happened.
It seems like it's getting better, because when you drive, the piles of trash are smaller. At first, like, the streets were just lined solid. It definitely feels like the streets are less cluttered, and life is getting back to normal. You sort of feel the hum again of what it used to feel like.
It was a clean slate. I mean, it was a clean slate. So, you know, that was the positive, I guess. But the first day walking in was not positive. It was very emotional. Just supporting each other through it and just knowing who you can depend on. It kind of brought us together.
Just got to know our neighbors a little bit better.
Patty, nice to meet you.
Conversations that, you know, if this wouldn't have happened, we probably never would have had. So it's cool. If you look at those things, you know, it helps.
Well, it's pretty much home now. You know, I mean, we're getting used to it, but we miss San Marco. You just got to stay strong and, you know, take it a day at a time. It definitely changes the outlook. Just see the good in people. I mean, just the massive amount of open arms and help that we received. Just, I mean, people that we didn't even know. That was really overwhelming. You know, yeah, we were being strong, but that just helped us immensely. I hope that everybody that was affected is able to get back on their feet. They're moving along, you know, and trying to move forward. It's a challenge, and I just hope to see, you know, those other businesses as I drive by there that are still closed, you know, get back on their feet as well. You know, I wish everyone the best of luck, and hopefully we'll see each other soon.
Going back to work, it's going great. Just to get away from all the hassle, it's good to get there and relax. Everybody's been so great to us, offering every day, can I do anything? I can swing a hammer. I've got a few extra dollars. What do you need? I have never met more people that have such good hearts.
It's a wonderful area, and I hate to leave. I can't imagine living somewhere else. That's part of the decision making. Just don't know what to do.
Knowing I've saved so many years, so many treasures of family things, I'm very proud of my history and all that's gone. So, doggone.
We'll have to make more memories, that's all.
We actually, the other night, Shannon made some really good spaghetti that was so good that we had to throw it away. And
I am good at making spaghetti.
you're a great cook, babe. So we ordered, what's it called?
BB's, we went to BB's.
We ordered bruschetta and cake from BB's.
What
and
you
we
don't
picked it
know
up.
is that I ruined dinner on purpose so I could have BB's.
That might be true. That might actually be true.
So we put in an offer on the house and it got accepted. We're in the middle of the process right now. I'm really excited about it. Yes, it's got the red door, which I love, cute little porch. We have found the silver lining, I guess, in this whole thing. We weren't in the place anymore, but it ended up being kind of a blessing because we haven't paid rent for 2 months. Come here. Come here. So it definitely put us on a fast track to being better off than we were before. So that's pretty huge.
You hope this never happens to anyone, but when it does, and if it does, this is kind of the best way it could happen. People coming out of the woodworks, people we don't even know. Someone from Tennessee sent me clippers for my beard because I lost them in the flood.
If it weren't for this happening, we would have never seen how good people really are.
That's something that's irreplaceable. You know, it's something you can't buy, you can't pay for, and we're incredibly grateful for.
We never expected this to happen. And the fact that it did has changed everything for us. And it's been this great adventure for us that has strengthened our marriage and strengthened our friendship, you know? You hear people talk about that after like disasters or after things happen and you kind of don't believe them, you know? Because you hope that never happens to you. But if I could go back, I wouldn't change that it happened. I hope to God it never happens again. But we're better now than we were before. We're stronger now than we were before. Don't you think?
You like sweets? Well, how about it, Sophia? Quite a different evening, isn't it?
Ain't got no time for rainy day. Just let the sunshine come my way, and let happiness come on in. I hope it's here to stay, and if not, then I'll see better days. Ain't got nowhere I need to be. Just let the sand run through my feet, and let the good vibes and high tides wash away my pain. And if not, then I'll see better days.
Good job.
Happiness, come on in, hope it's here to stay. And if not, then I'll see better days.